Welcome back to my channel, Miss Personal Finance, where we are budgeting our way to financial freedom. In today's video, we will be doing a cash stuffing. We are primarily digital budgeters, so I started off with the cash envelope stuffing method when I first began my financial journey a few years back, but I've since transitioned to digital savings through a high yield savings account, so I don't keep as much cash on me as I did before. But every so often we get some cash, and I like to go ahead and put it in our cash binders that we keep on hand just in case of emergencies. We don't ever let it get too much before putting it back into a high savings account, but it's always good to have a little bit of cash on hand, I believe. And for this cash stuffing, I went ahead and withdrew all the additional funds from our remaining sinking funds for the year now that we are in December. So we save throughout the year and pay items off as they are due. And a lot of them we pay in advance. So by December, most everything for the year has already been paid for or accounted for. So this is all the extra money that was just sitting left over in some of our sinking funds. We can start off by seeing how much we have. So this is 2, 4, 6. This is 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 230, 233. Okay, so because I got these from the ATM, they're super crisp, so I had to separate them so I wouldn't have a hard time trying to count those out. So this is a total of $233, and this is going to be the binder, just a simple plain black binder with envelopes with some of the categories that we use, not only in our sinking fund, but just regular everyday things. So although we are digital budgeters, I just prefer to have cash, or I prefer to carry cash when I am going out to restaurants, not only for tipping purposes, but it also allows us to stay within budget and not go overboard. So I assign certain categories for dining out and even our date night so that we have some cash on hand. Now, this binder has no money in it, so we're gonna start fresh yet again. But again, these are sinking funds, so they are meant to be spent. I don't expect this binder to ever have a ton of money in it, just sitting around idly, not earning interest, not doing anything, not being spent. So for the most part, this binder is going to be actively used or empty when I empty it out to kind of do a restart or a refresh. Okay, so for groceries, I typically like to have at least $40 on hand, because if I need to just grab something really quickly, I don't always have to use a card or swipe a card. So this is gonna have 40. So gas and groceries are a staple, so same thing, I like to have 40 in this one just in case. It may not fill it up entirely, but with that gas prices now, but it'll get us where we need to be before we need to do an actual fill up. Now, household items. In our sinking funds, we've since combined our household and our groceries because most of the stores we go to include both of them, and it's hard to separate in receipts. But for household, I'll just put in like a $20, I'd say. And again, this is just cash on hand. This is not cash stuffing to spend for the week that we already do, using our interest checking account tied to our debit card. So miscellaneous, I'll come back to this. Miscellaneous, I just put all of the extra ones if it's less than $5. date night and dining out. These I also do last because I like to fund those the most. So let's see what we have left over. So personal care, that's things like brows, or I don't really get my nails done, but if I wanted like a massage or a pedicure or eyebrows, something like that. That's what personal care would be. So for personal care, just for now, I'm going to start it off with 20. And then throughout the month, I'll try to add to that as well. Hair, same thing. A lot of these are services. And again, services tend to come with tips and things like that. So it's always good to have cash on hand. And again, I just, for some reason, don't like giving my credit card where it's not with me or I can't see people swiping. So I just tend to give cash for restaurants and dining out. Okay, week 5. So week 5 are for those months where we have 5 instead of 4 weeks. So it's always good to save up just a little because it can skew your budget if you don't already budget for 5 weeks, which is something we may start doing in the new year. But typically on those 5-week months, I actually like to challenge our household to be more financially conscious with both our food and our spending. So we kind of like to take that as a challenge and actually spend equal or less during those months. So I'll still keep this category here in this binder, but not 100% sure what we're going to do, which method we're going to take for next year. And then lastly is bank. Again, when this gets too full, I do go ahead and deposit it back into our high yield savings account so we can earn interest while we are not using it. Okay. So because these are good, we're going to go to date night. So let's see how much we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we can start date night off with $40. We are a family of 5, 1 adult child out of the house and 2 littles. So date night with the littles is not really a thing right now. A lot of the times we just order in for date night unless we can find childcare for the evening. But we do sometimes like to go out, and sometimes if we have to take the kids with us, we'll do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. So dining out, I typically use this when I'm out with my friends, not necessarily just my husband. So this is going to get 40. So that's the difference between date night and dining out, really just the company. So we try to have our date nights at least once a month, but even that can get tricky. And we're going to do 40 here. Oh, that just fell right off. Oh no, my money's stuck inside. Okay, so these envelopes come with this binder, which I just got off of Amazon a while back. And I do prefer the sliders because you get to keep your money safely inside, whereas some of the envelopes don't have openings. Don't have a way to close it. But yeah, they just slide up and down. And I do them the opposite so the binder doesn't get too thick once everything is closed. So they slide to the opposite, so it kind of balances out. All right, so last I always do miscellaneous. So because this is less than $5, I'll put the remaining 3 out of the 233 inside of miscellaneous. And this is what I pull for if I'm trying to do exact amount or for tips when dining out or any of those services. So we have groceries, gas, household, miscellaneous, date night, dining out, personal care, hair, week 5, and bank. So for the upcoming year, we are still going to be digital budgeters, occasionally cash stuffing, but I do want to be more mindful about our credit card usage, our credit card spending. So we'll probably be doing a little bit more cash next year than we did this year. just to try to stay away from that credit card swiping. For our budget, that means we may have to start saving or creating new sinking funds for things that we typically didn't in the past, just because those are the things that we usually find ourselves swiping for. Okay, so that's it for this video. Comment below if you are a cash envelope stuffer or if you prefer digital methods of saving. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, whatever you put your energy and your focus toward, you're bound to see progress.